As the temperature starts to get colder, we want to make sure that our stats inside our tank are stable so our little friends can stay nice and warm during these winter days. The first thing you want to make sure you have is a full-length heat mat if you do get colder winters. You should use a UTH heat mat. Heat mats should never be placed at the bottom of the tank because that will heat the substrate and will hurt any molting crabs. So we want to make sure that we're placing it against the back of the wall, at least 1 inch above the substrate. Your gauge should be placed at the center of the tank off of the substrate, no more than 4 inches off the substrate, so you can get an accurate reading of heat and humidity. Next thing you want to make sure is you have reflective insulation. You can use reflective insulation or car shields to insulate over your heat mats. If you have sticky heat mats, they should not be insulated to avoid any fire hazards. If you have big opening around your sticky heat mat, you can use the same insulation, just cut and just leave the heat mat exposed and cover the open space. This way you're insulating the glass and not the heat mat. If your heat is still struggling, you want to add a small heat mat on the side of your tank. This way you can get that extra push of heat. If you have a topper, you can place a small heat mat on the back wall of your topper to help push down the heat. The heat mat for your topper should only cover 1/4 of the top. The temperature and humidity should not be the same as your base tank. You definitely want to look for the minimum. So just covering a part of your topper is all you really need. So you can place it at the center of your topper. Just make sure that it is a small portion of your topper that is being covered. And then you can insulate over the top of it. Your main source of heat should be the UTH heat mat, which is the reptile heat mat, not the light source. The light source should not be producing any type of heat. So no heat lamps, those will create hot spots on your substrate. It will stress your hermit crabs. We want to avoid that. A regular aquarium overhead light, like the Hogger lights, are perfect because they do mimic the cycle setting, which is perfect, and our crabs do tend to enjoy it better. If you don't have deep substrate, you can add some more substrate. You want to heat the air inside your tank. So the more substrate you have, the less space you have to heat. So I always like to keep my tanks at the max, which will be 10 to 12 inches, depending on the size of your tank. You don't want to overfill your tank with substrate. You just want to make sure that you are filling 3 times the depth of your largest hermit crab in that tank. But I always like to aim for 10 inches. This way you have less air to heat inside your tank. This tank has a topper, so it does not have a lid. But if you have a mesh lid, you want to make sure that you have a glass hinge lid which covers the entire tank, or you can actually purchase plexiglass and have it customly cut so that it can fit the size of your tank. This way the heat and the humidity stays inside for our hermit crabs. Lastly, a children's blanket. You can use any type of heavy blanket, but I prefer actually these fleece children's blanket. I only cover the top and then throw it over the front during the night. So when lights go out or before going to bed, I would just throw it over the front of the tank, and this way you avoid any issues with condensation and it'll keep the stats stable inside. If you have your tank near a window, for example this one, you want to make sure that you are insulating your window or there's no type of breeze coming in through there. Regardless, it will feel colder by the window, so what you can do is use some weather bags. They usually sell them at hardware stores or Home Depot. Some dollar stores may carry them, and it actually covers the whole window, it tapes, and then you can vacuum out the air, so it'll suction it up. This way you don't have any type of cold coming in.